Hey everybody, Briggsel here again with another 1v1. This time round we have Kamiyu99 and What Doth Life again. Now, we're on Kolonifirma, or KF. What am I bloody talking about? I don't know. And we're going to enjoy this, hopefully, enjoyable replay. I don't know anything about this replay before I start playing it. I've never watched it before, so we'll just go ahead and ad-lib, as it were. Right, it's taken its time to load up again because it's the first game of the day for me, and it always seems to take its time, which is always fun. Anyway, the game is now loaded. Right, here we go. So, in the right corner, right side, on the east side of the map, we have the Germans that are Kamiyu99. On the west side, in the red corner, who playing Soviet, it is What Doth Life. Now, we've seen What Doth Life before play against a very decent opponent a couple of replays ago. WB Hart, I think, was the name of the player he played against, and I believe What Doth Life, if I can remember that far back, yesterday, won that game, as we see engineers come out for the Russians as they take their first point. The Germans take their first point with their pioneers, and we have grenadiers on the field. Very nice stuff. The first building is going down for the Russians, and it's a sport weapon Campania, as the first point is taken for the Germans. The Russians are moving north towards their fuel depot, or fuel cache, as it were. They're going to take that position as the pioneers move north for the Germans. This game is literally the first replay that I've seen since the game was released last evening, and so far I've not seen many changes. I think I'm sure they'd have fixed a couple of little bugs here and there, and some more kind of balancing would be the best way to describe it. We'll have to wait and see though. So the Grenadiers decide to miss this quite important point on this map and move towards the ammunition point. The Russians have decided to move further north to take their next point, and will probably move to the star. The Germans are taking the middle ammunition point here, which is just north of that middle star. And finally, the HMG squad is taking this middle point for the Germans, which is a very interesting and very well needed point for the Germans. Another Grenadier squad come into play, and the first battle of the day comes in between the two Engineers and Pioneer squads. They're just going to miss each other though, as that star is captured for the Russians. The Russian Pioneer squad is going to move, or the Engineer squad is going to move in to take this ammunition sector, as the Pioneer squad is going to try and take this fuel depot from the Russians. I think the Russians will try and counter this by taking this ammunition spot, rendering getting that fuel depot pointless for now. A little bit of a battle going on here between the infantry and the Grenadiers. Grenadiers are going to take the advantage here. What went down there? There were some mines going down there for the Engineer squad, and they're going to run away as the Germans come in and fall on those mines almost instantly. Interesting. They take 1 damage there and will cap this point. Germans capture the fuel depot, but it's rendered useless by the neutralization of this ammo point. They are out of kilter, and that won't happen anytime soon. A little bit of fight here between Cons and Grenadiers at this middle star. They both can fall back and fight another day. Infantry fighting here between the Engineer and the Pioneer squad. Looks like it's going to be a Russian victory there. Maxim heavy machine gun here covering this middle sector, as the the Russians con squad, sorry, is going to take this middle star. That means that the Russians are in quite a commanding lead at the moment. They've got 2 stars and the 3rd star is neutralised, which means they've got nothing on the board, the Germans, that is. Now the Germans' Grenadier squad is going to move south here and take this bottom point. There's going to be a swap of these points here between the Russians and the Germans. The Soviets are going to take the fuel depot back, and the Germans are going to take their ammunition back as the con squad move in for this ammunition sector. Grenadiers have stood still at the moment, but another set of Grenadiers are going to come in and engage this con squad. Rifle grenade goes down, very ineffective, but it pushes the con squad out, and with the reinforcements from the other German unit, then there was no kind of point trying to fight that. Battle phase 1 has gone down for the Germans, which means they can bring their next sort of buildings in if they want to, or maybe miss that and go for the 3rd building. This bottom star is being now taken from the Germans, which is always great to see. Engineer squad will retake this ammunition sector as the Maxim squad can't engage this Grenadier squad. It's in a bit of a position there. They'll move, but the Grenadier squad is probably going to get away, I thought. They'll get away, but I mean, they're going to run right into 2 engineer units, and that's never going to be fun for the Grenadier squad, especially with the HMG now coming up to their flank. Con squad are engaging the Grenadiers, and they will take this point for the Russians as the Germans take the top point. This HMG is still engaging the Grenadiers, and the Grenadiers are going to get burnt to death by the Pioneer unit, or the Engineer unit. That was a waste for the Germans, unfortunately. The Germans have built the mechanised company, and they will build half-tracks, it would seem. And they need to get some stuff on the board, because at the moment they are slowly getting beaten. HMG squad there is covering that route there, but I don't think it's going to be utilised too much, because at the moment the Russians are only kind of holding ground rather than pushing very far. I mean, they're taking this ammunition sector here, but I don't think it's going to be, well, I mean, the HMG squad's going to move to this fuel depot, which is quite an interesting move. And the HMG squad has changed its angle so it can cover certain aspects of this. Russians are finally taking this top spot as the Pioneers decide to move on to their next point, but they're going to be cut off very soon. Half tracks finally into play as the Grenadier squad moves up, but the HMG is just going to cut them down and they will retreat. Ammo point is going to be going down in a second, as does the point to the south here, the fuel depot. This top star is going to be taken for the Russians as the HMG squad has done the job and basically got the Germans to retreat from that point. It's looking quite dire for the Germans right now, and they are going to try and sit and take some points that they need. As the Russians take the southerly point here, and the Russians look like they're in a really commanding lead here. The Germans have got no answer for this so far. The Panzer Grenadier squad is going to come into play in a minute or so, and as the Grenadiers take this point here, I think we've got 120mm mortar squad on the field, and that is never going to be good for that group of units there as they move out. HMG squad is caught off guard as the half track gets there. The flame upgrade, and that HMG squad is going to have to run away, as does the conscript squad. I'm sure will have to run away right now. The HMG squad is completely destroyed. The conscript squad do run away. They do lose one unit, they're going to lose another. They're going to get away with it. No, they're not. They're going to be chased down, and the second man from that unit is going to be... This half-track is absolutely murdering these infantry so far, and it's going to do a great job of clearing that area with that flame. Very well played there by the half-track. It's going to engage the mortar squad. That's a really good pick for the Germans. Very good pick. Meanwhile, on the back of this, we've got a takedown of the fuel and the ammo points here from the German side. We've got the HMG and the Grenadiers. We've also got a fallback here because of T-70 coming to play for the Russians. They're going to engage this Grenadier squad. I don't think they're going to get very far with that, so they're going to fall back. Some pushes here for the Pioneers and HMGs, the Panzer Grenadiers, who are at half health. They're not going to fare well against this flame unless they do more and more damage, but they're not. They're gonna run away, and the Russians are still in a quite commanding lead here. They've got all 3 stars. Unless the Germans can bring something out, something heavier, then I don't think this is going to be very useful for the Germans. Mortars coming back onto the field. The T-70 is probably going to engage this Grenadier squad, stop them from taking this, which is exactly what they do. Engineer squad is going to try and engage this Pioneer squad that's just taken that point, and the T-70 is finally engaging the Grenadiers, and the Grenadiers are going to retreat. All the reclaimed stuff that is been taken by the Germans in the last minute or so is going to be retaken for the Russians, as the Battle Phase 2 has still not gone down, and it looks like that could be a factor for the loss here from the Germans. Because it looks almost desperate now for the Germans. They're not going to win this game unless they bring something heavy out. That T-70 is doing some serious damage, and the points are being reclaimed for the Russians. A bit of a lull here in battle as some more mines go down for the engineers. This half-track is going to try and engage these units, especially the HMG would be the target, I'd suggest. Mines get hit on this half-track and they damage the half-track, but it's not going to do enough here, as the half-track literally walks right through the line and destroys some infantry, and the HMG is going to retreat. T-70 is going to come into play though here, and it's going to try and engage this half-track, which a couple of shots and that half-track will go down. One more shot and that half-track goes down. There we go, half-track is down. Engineer squad has become completely useless there. There's a bit of a ruckus going on down here with the Grenadier squad engaging cons and engineers. We've got a mortar behind that that's going to do a little bit of damage, but not enough. We've got a field gun or a Pack 40 in place, but it's not going to do much damage over here, unfortunately, because there is nothing to do damage with. As mortar squad is doing some serious damage here, covering this sector. Mortar half-track coming into play, but I think it's too little too late for the Germans, as the Russians are keeping on with their pressure. HMG squad is going to start to engage whatever it can in that position. Mortars are still engaging. If they're not careful there, that HMG squad might get some hits. Mortars for the Germans started to engage, and I think that mortars are going to have to pull back there. I don't think it's going to do any damage if it keeps sitting in that position. He's cutting it apart. T-70 is going to come here and try and engage. Let's roll with this for a second and we watch it coming through and engage. Engaging on some infantry, gets his first point of veterancy. He's going to try and avoid the Pack 40, and it's going to destroy the half-track. Engage the HMG. Another half-track comes into play, but it hasn't got its flame upgrade, as this HMG does some serious damage against these infantry units. It's not going to do enough though, and I can imagine that half-track is going to start to fall back. shortage of some more damage. T-70 is being rampant as normal, and I can honestly not see this being anywhere short of a victory for the Russians, as it is a victory for the Russians. That was a great little run for What Doth Life. He got a lot of the area to begin with, and that gave him a little bit of a push when it came to resources, and the Germans didn't have any response for the Russians. What I would have done, though, in my opinion, I would have, instead of going and building the Panzer, the Lecht-Mechanik Company, I would have probably passed that and gone straight to Panzer IVs and tried to bring in at least one Panzer IV, maybe in an Ostwind, to do some damage against the infantry, because Ostwinds are really good against infantry and would be very useful against this type of build from What Doth Life. But nonetheless, you have to give props to What Doth Life. He's done a very good job at defeating Kamiyu99, sorry. And I enjoyed this very much, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Anyway, I think that the unit of the day for me would be the T-70 light tank. It had 14 kills, 12 infantry and 2 vehicle kills. Did a very good job. For the Germans, it would have been that half track with the flame. It did a very good job at pushing through right in the middle, but it was too little, too late. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and see you next time.